today. Congress is reviewing a critical immigration bill that would pave the way for illegal immigrants to become legal after meeting certain requirements. We gathered a panel today to discuss not only the bill, but how this stands to impact South Florida's immigrant community. Joining me to discuss immigration reform is Maria Rodriguez, coordinator for the Florida Immigrant Coalition; David Caulkett, Vice President of Floridians for Immigration Enforcement; Luis Cerros, South Florida Coordinator for Democracia Ahora; and Enos Schera, Vice President of Citizens of Dade United. Welcome all to the program. This is such an important topic, not only for South Florida, but obviously nationwide. But it's also very controversial for so many levels. The Senate bill currently has a guest worker program, a plan that some would say is amnesty for undocumented workers, a $5,000 payment for those who need to, who are going to become part of the process, a point system to qualify, family reunification issues. Maria Rodriguez, where do you stand on this? Where does your organization stand on this particular bill?
As a statewide coalition of about 80 groups, we have very diverse perspectives on it, but there is unity around saying that we need reform now. We have 3 million people in Florida who are immigrants. About 1 million of them are undocumented, and we need to integrate these people into our community, and we need to give them an opportunity to be part of this state.
Before I go to David, I wanted to ask you, are these undocumented workers, are they agricultural workers? Are they entrepreneurs?
400,000 of them are agricultural workers, but as you can see from the recent FIU study, a large number of them are entrepreneurs, and immigrants are more likely to have bachelor's degrees than the general population. So we are missing out on tremendous human potential and human capital by not giving an opportunity to a lot of Florida's families to integrate and to give to their fullest potential.
David Caulkett, what do you think?
Well, Floridians for Immigration Enforcement is adamantly opposed to the bill that the Senate is discussing now. There are so many aspects to it. The one major factor is, according to the Heritage Foundation, it costs $2.5 trillion. That's with a T. We don't think that it
is that because of border enforcement?
It's just social costs, incarceration costs, and it's very comprehensive number, but this is going to cost citizens huge amount of money. And one of the aspects that is not adequately discussed is the impetus that non-enforcement of immigration laws is going to mean to the rest of the world who wants to come here. This bill means the end of immigration enforcement, and we expect that there will not be any enforcement if this bill passes, and they are going to flow over the borders like we've never seen it before.
Luis Cerros.
Well, Democracia Ahora is part of the coalition, and of course I would say that this is a good starting point. We believe that we need comprehensive immigration reform. The economy of the United States needs these people, otherwise they wouldn't be here. They are here because the economy needs them.
And what about you, Enos Schera?
I'd like to say that Citizens of Dade United is totally against the Kennedy bill, S-1348. It would make a real dilemma for the United States. I like to quote three studies, reputable studies. First of all, the Cato Institute said that it would bring in between 22 to 30 million people. Then there's another economic study by the Heritage Foundation. It said it would cost somewhere around about 2.5 trillion, that's with a T, $trillion to bring in 103 million people. That's about a quarter of a population. And also, it would, regarding the jobs, he said we need these people. We don't need these people. We have plenty of Americans out of work. The U.S.
unemployment is at its lowest.
It may be at its lowest, but...
And when it comes to actually from a business component, the business community is the one that's really been pushing for immigration reform.
I know. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce at Washington's been behind all this. The Catholic Church, the Protestant churches.
Aside from faith-based organizations, why do you think the business community, this is for both of you, why do you think the business community is behind this?
Well, because they're trying to get cheap labor. And what they're doing is they're putting millions of Americans out of work, They're substituting with people that work for like $2 to $3 an hour. I used to work with an electric company, and actually they were getting like $2 an hour workers in the company.
Maria Rodriguez, they're trying to get cheap labor.
Yeah, cheap labor.
I think that it's true that when immigrants don't have their papers, they're vulnerable to exploitation. Absolutely right. And that's why we're advocating, because it's important not just for the immigrant workers, but for the U.S. workers to have these workers be equally protected so that they're not pitted against each other. And so that's why we believe strongly that in order to protect U.S. workers, we need to provide a legal path for immigrant workers. In agriculture, we've seen in this state oranges being reduced and millions of dollars lost in the orange harvest last year.
But why
Apples,
did they come legally
onions.
in the first place?
In terms of agriculture, it's absolutely clear. The Restaurant Association is saying that they need these workers. Our own Commerce Secretary, Gutierrez, has said that we don't need 12 million, we need probably 3 times that many workers in our
David
economy.
Caulkett.
The fallacy is that very clearly, according to historical numbers, the illegal alien population will increase dramatically. We are not going to end illegal immigration with this bill. In fact, it will get much, much worse.
Absolutely.
According to the statistics of the 1986 amnesty, there were 3 million given amnesty. That number went up to 7 million illegal alien population within a decade. The estimate is 103 million over 20 years that will come in. About 40 million of those will be illegal.
But there is a large border enforcement component to this bill.
Nobody in their right mind believes that that will happen. We have not had immigration enforcement for 20 years, and it's not going to happen
Luis,
with this.
If David Caulkett is correct, and he may be, then the immigration problem, legal immigration problem, will never be solved.
Nobody wants to be here legally. The best thing about
Nobody wants to be here illegally?
Nobody wants to be here. That's why the best thing about this bill or any project or any law will be that it will bring people out of the shadows. The best thing of this is basically that. We want these people, we want to know where these people work. These people are maybe getting less pay because they don't have any documents. Exploitation is there because of that. And they contribute tremendously to the economy of this country.
But there are those people who will suggest, Luis, that these are people who are actually a burden to society. They're a burden to the educational system, they're a burden to the healthcare system, that they're not paying their fair share.
That's why we need a comprehensive immigration reform, so that these people will be like any other citizen, will have the same rights, the same opportunities. If they don't have any documents, they will always be like that.
There are problems with our education and healthcare system, but it's absolutely ridiculous to blame those problems on immigrants. There have been policies in this country for the last 30 years to dismantle a public infrastructure, both in education and in healthcare. And we can't blame the state of that on immigrants. That is called scapegoating. It's unfair. Immigrants are actually heroes. Immigrants are heroes.
Enos, what about
I'd like
that?
to counteract your statement. During the Mario boat lift, our group tried to stop this. A group of 127,000 coming. 50,000 of those came in criminal, psychopaths, murderers, drug pushers, and you name it. That was from U.S. News and World Report of January 16th, 1984, page 29. And not only that, unless you have border security, you have nothing. The Kennedy bill is a farce. They've only got 2 miles of fence, and the representative from California has checked on the fence, and he's the guy that first put in the fence.
So